What is going on, everybody? We have a great video in store for you today, and I have a guest along with me. First time I'm making a Mario video on the channel, and you know I had to get the man, the myth, the legend, a common collaborator of mine, Super Mario Hoops 24. Garrett, how we doing today?
Doing great, man. Glad we could collab on this. Had to rep Mario today. I got a Mario Kart shirt, but we're not gonna be talking about that today, are we, Gabe?
We're not talking about Mario Kart today, but we are talking about an iconic Mario game. A game that I speedrun a little bit, and you might see from the footage in the background that I'm no expert, but I do have a high enjoyment of this game. I've played it many times. So, to not bury the lead too much, today we are going to be ranking all 15 courses in Mario 64. If you're watching the video right now, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. We're going to start making a ton of quality content for you guys out here. I haven't made it out a bunch so far, but a lot is going to be coming soon, so please feel free to join the movement right now. Garrett, what is the worst course in Super Mario 64?
I will preface that I do absolutely love this game, so it's hard to say there's any bad courses. This is probably my third favorite Mario game ever. I gotta go with Rainbow Ride, man, and it's not just because of, it's similar to Rainbow Road in like the Mario Kart sense and the difficulty there. I just hate how boring it can get, like when you're just sitting on the carpets, especially going to the big house in the sky, bro. Like nobody loves doing that star. I just feel like there's like way too much like intended waiting in this level, and it's like, bro, I'm trying to get at it. I'm trying to speed run, just like you and me, like we're speed runners at Mario, bro. We're not trying to wait around.
I definitely have Rainbow Ride a little bit higher. I enjoy the challenge, and while some of that auto scrolly type stuff, the carpet rides can be a bit annoying. And then like the ones at the bottom, the tricky triangle swinging in the breeze, like I think those are some more like super fun, challenging platforming challenges. So I have it a little bit higher, but my 15 is a much different level. You are up in the sky, I'm down in the sea. At 15, I have dire docks. I'm just not too high on this level. When I get to this point in the game, I'm like, I'm ready to do Bowser in the Fire Sea, and oh, now I have a water level. And to me, it's not even the best water level in the game, and it's just not very entertaining for me. You get closer to the sub, and then the game starts to lag a lot, go slow, and that's not enjoyable at all. And then, a lot of the stars are just you spawn in, you swim straight down, and you're swimming through the rings, or you're opening the treasure chest, and it's just not really a lot there for me besides swim around, go to X location, and get the star. But I'll go ahead and go first for number 14, and as the second worst course in the game, I have Tiny Huge Island. I just feel like when it comes to traversal, it was a cool concept, but like there's never really any times where I'm like, yeah, I want to enter in through the huge side. And like when I'm trying to climb to the top, it feels really contrived. And a lot of times I just feel like the traversal is annoying almost. And when I'm in a platformer, I want it to be challenging, but I don't want it to feel tedious and annoying. And that tedium is really what I get when I'm going through Tiny Huge Island.
Well, it appears you know ball, Gabe, because I also have Tiny Huge Island at number 14. And the reason is like, I do like the concept of having really small and really big, but it just feels like it's too exaggerated, that it's really annoying. I don't know. I'm not really too fond of it. And like you said, like nobody enters through the big painting. Like that's just going to take forever just to walk down that hallway. So number 13, I know you weren't high on Dire Docks. I'm a little bit higher on this track, or this course, but not too high either. Jolly Roger Bay. And I have it here, and I have it lower than Dire Docks, because I feel like I'm really not too big on the water levels. I feel like that's a common thing. There's so much area that I feel like is just used with water that should not be. And there's only like one star you can get without even touching the water.
My 13 is completely different. This is where I have Tall Mountain. Tall Mountain, it just didn't really grab me that much. Like the slide is cool, but there's other better slides in the game. A lot of the courses is just really climbing the mountain, and a lot of this course is just more climb to the top. And this late in the game, not that much of a fan in it. And I gotta take off points for Blast of the Lonely Mushroom, bro. That might be the worst star in the game.
Yeah, I can get behind you on Blast of the Lonely Mushroom. That is one of the more frustrating stars in the game. But
Number 12 is where I have Shifting Sand Land. And it felt weird putting it this low because I feel like there's a lot of good about this course. Going inside the pyramid, very cool. Just using the wing cap to fly around, get the red coins. There's a lot of really fun things to do here. Even if you're on the speedrunning side, a lot of cool skips with especially pillarless. Like, that's one of the craziest tricks in the game. Cool aspects to the level, but I think a lot of other levels just have things that hook me more, and I'm generally not a big fan of desert worlds, so it might be one of the better desert worlds in the series, but it still isn't all that great for me.
I have the Snowman's Land at number 12, and I feel like it's a little unoriginal at this point in the game because of another course we're going to probably both get to. It's one of the more frustrating things too in the game is just doing the star where you have to go to the very top of the snowman head and you got to walk by the penguin. And bro, I do think the igloo is a nice touch, so I'll give it some like points there, but it's not the worst course, but I'm not putting it all too high either. So number 11, I'm kind of debating, but I think I'm going to go with this number 11. I'm going with Womp's Fortress. That might be a surprise.
Whoa, no.
I have it low because it feels like an extended tutorial of the game that's not necessary. I don't like how it's a little unoriginal where you have to fight the Womp for the very first star. It's literally the same thing as Bob-omb Battlefield where you're fighting the Bob-omb, except it's way more glitchy. And I feel like, honestly, like in terms of speed running and like performing sick tricks, this is probably like a top 5 course.
Dude, you're breaking my heart right now because at number 11, you're talking about is the extension of Bob-omb Battlefield. Here's where I have Bob-omb Battlefield because I'm more of a Womp's Fortress fan. It's iconic. It's a great intro level. There is a lot of great things there. And like I said, the iconicism is so high. But overall, there's just a lot of courses I have more fun in.
I kind of see a little bit where you're going, where it's like you have to leave the level and come back, especially if you're trying to like play for time. But
like the whole area like below the bridge and all that, why am I down there? Like there's a lot of areas in the course that I genuinely feel like the space isn't as optimally utilized as a lot of other courses in the game. We can move on to number 10. I will start us off here. This is a repeat, so I don't get to talk too much about it. I have Snowman's Land here, so higher than you had it, but still not too high. I do think it's not the best of the two snow levels in the game, but I think there's a lot to offer here. I think it's a level that just the traversal can be fun between bouncing off the spin drifts and like twirling around, especially riding the shell around the level can be a ton of fun. But having the snowman as a centerpiece, I think, is a pretty novel concept because we see a bunch of mountains and hills and all these kind of things, but just having a giant snowman, like, I thought that was creative. And then the igloo is just a little sub area. It's just another little cool thing to add, and I feel like they really pack a lot into the space they had.
So my number 10, and like you've already named it as well, at the bottom, Dire Docks at my number 10. Again, I think it has, you could argue, maybe the most iconic music in the game. I still think more people resonate it or connect it with Dire Docks than Jolly Roger Bay. And then at the same time, I feel like just it's less space is being wasted for me personally in Dire Docks. I know it's like smaller and I know you start in the water, but for some reason, like I feel like I have like excitement to swim through to the other side where the sub is and like where the 8 red coins and stuff like that is, because platforming for the 8 red coins, that's one of the more fun things in the game for me. So as opposed to Jolly Roger Bay, like if I'm swimming down there to the other side, I'm almost not even really excited to go over there because like what gives, you know?
For all the positive things you're saying, you still only do have it at number 10. So it's like, no matter how you feel, it's not the greatest course in the world. And I do think the water levels can drag a bit in the game because I like to run around. I like to have fun. And I feel like the water levels can significantly slow down the pace of the game.
Number 9, you've already said it. This is where I have Shifting Sand Land. I feel like it's just, for one, it's a great feeling to fly across the 4 pillars. And then it's also a great feeling, at least for me, to grab that box in the beginning and bounce right over the fence. Bro, great feelings all around, great vibes. And I think also like just entering the pyramid and like when you go in from the top, and just like the precise jump to get that star before you fall all the way down, because that's what people do. I will say the bird can be kind of annoying at times. I think those boxes can be annoying at times, and even the tornadoes can be a little bit annoying.
My number 9 is where I have Jolly Roger Bay, so I'm getting both of the water levels out of the way. I think we both named both of them to this point. I said a lot of positive things about it, but at the end of the day, it's still a water level. It can still slow the pace down, and it's not all that great, but I do think there's some fun to be had. I think finding the little secret cave is a cool concept. I think being able to swim inside the ship and then you drain it and you have that continuity of, oh, now the ship's like up at the top, and then you go like platform on there with the red coins. I think there's a lot of cool things that are in Jolly Roger Bay, and for me, it's the one I associate the iconic music track with because it's so much earlier in the game. Number 8, I have Rainbow Ride, way higher than you had it, but I like a nice difficult platforming challenge, and I think there's a lot of those in this level. Now, some of the carpet rides can get really boring, but some of them, they keep you occupied. They have the rotating fire bars or different platforms that you got to jump on and get off the carpet for a little bit. And then especially the ones at the bottom, like I said earlier, tricky triangle, swinging in the breeze, like there's fun platforming. And honestly, one of the biggest skill checks in the game for me was just doing the wall jump to be able to do the blue coin switch to get 100 coins in the stage. You do kind of just ride carpets up to the top for like half of the stars. So it had to get some points against it, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say like long jumping to the pole, like on the other side and doing the stars over there, like you said, that's probably some of the more fun ones in the game or in the course. And then also like, I don't know, I just feel like there's so many carpets that like aren't used, and like just there's not many ways that are fun to keep yourself occupied when you're riding the carpets up. And that's why I had the docket so low. But my number 8 is Hazy Maze Cave. And I went with Hazy Maze Cave here. I feel like it's a little bit scattered. It's a little bit all over the place. So kind of take that how you will. I also think I do like the music, and I like the Metal Cat features in it personally. But I feel like there's just like there's some spots like in this course that are kind of irritating. And there's a lot of stuff, again, similar to Rainbow Ride, that involves waiting as well. And it's just like, I got to wait to like go up to get to this star. I got to like fall down or whatever to get down to the water part. I'm not too high on it. I do think the Toxic Maze is a cool touch. And I do think the platforming over by the 8 red coin section is pretty cool. So I will give it that, but I have to put it right in the middle.
It can be irritating because you're trying to solve a maze, and that can be frustrating. But
I will give it credit because they do have the map at the very beginning as well that nobody ever looks at. Number 7, this is where I have Wet Dry World. I have it here because I like the changing water element, and there's other courses that kind of have something similar to it in their own rights. I will say like the other side of the course is a bit weird for this course a little bit, so I had to knock it a little bit. It feels almost like if you've ever played like Super Mario 64 Star Road, it feels like it's straight out of that. So, and I don't know, I do like the teleportation spots. I think that's awesome. There's not really any too crazy stars that no matter what level of a gamer you are, you should be able to get them all, except maybe like the 5 secrets one. That one might be a little bit tougher, but one of the most enjoyable parts in this course in particular is chucking that purple bomb off the edge, man. At the very top in the main section, bro. But yeah,
number 7, I do have Wet Dry World. It's a creative level, a very creative course. The creativity of entering the painting and changing the water level is just such a novel concept, and it's almost like 2 levels in one with the whole town area, which has I think 2 separate stars in it. So, I mean, there's not just like one reason to go over there. There's a couple different things to do there, especially if you're going for 100 coins as well. There might be some reason to go over there. So it really makes the most of its space. Having a giant tunnel in between might be a little contrived, but I think there's a lot of elements in the level that lead to some creative puzzle solving, like the elevator stage, or even like the little moving platforms that nobody ever uses because they just do the teleportation, or just to get to the town. Either you can use the cannon, or you can just up the water level and be able to just make a jump up there. So I think the assets in the level lead to a lot of creative puzzle solving, and just as far as being a sandbox, it's one of the best in the game. I guess I'll go ahead and start off number 6. Like I said, here's where I have Hazy Maze Cave. I just love the way you can explore this level. You might end up getting lost a couple times, but whether you're exploring the toxic maze, going down into the water area and going through the several different pathways, whether it's the star in the middle or going to the far area with Metal Mario or just getting to the Metal Cap stage itself. There's a lot to do down there. The toxic maze has its 2 separate exits that'll lead you to separate stars. There's a lot of different places to go. I do think like the elevator red coins can be kind of annoying. So it's not a perfect stage by any means, but I think as far as what it's trying to accomplish, being a maze, I think it does a great job because you're never just super far away from a star. Wherever you're at in the level, you can get to a star and complete a mission by just following a different pathway and exploring the stage.
So for my number 6, this is where I have Tall Tall Mountain. You know, a lot of people hate this course, I think mainly because of the chimp that steals Mario's hat, but which is pretty funny. But I don't know, I feel like you can easily skip like certain parts of the course that you don't want to go on, and I feel like there's a lot of ways that you can easily platform or other tricks that you can do to get up there. Like whether it's like the jungle area by the 8 red coins, or if you're using the wind by the very beginning, which I feel like a lot of people do. Like it's not like it takes forever to get up the mountain, even though it is a tall, tall mountain, hence the name. So, and I also think the slide might be, maybe this is controversial, but it might be the most fun slide in the game.
I don't always do it though. I'm not the most experienced. I feel like my favorite is probably the Cool Mountain slide.
Okay, I'll say this. I think it's the most challenging slide because like if you do the Cool Mountain one or like the Princess's slide, I mean those are simple, but like this one actually there's like a challenge. You know what I mean? Like there's more of a challenge, I feel like.
I think that's fair. I think, yeah, the Cool Mountain slide can get a little bit more challenging in the penguin race, but as far as just completing the slide, it's definitely the most challenging one by far.
So top 5, this is where I have Big Boo's Haunt. I think, first of all, it's a great course top to bottom. I feel like there's a unique way of entering the course. You know, every other course, you're hopping through paintings, whatever. This one, you got to go into the backyard, and you got to hop right into, you know, the Big Boo's lair. And it's easy to get to like every star you need. Like most people like, okay, if you're new to the game, maybe you'll go in like the left side and you'll go in there, you'll wait to go down the thing, you'll go into the merry-go-round, or if you're trying to go quick, you'll just go into the big house, you'll fall down, boom, you're already down there. So like, I feel like it's not really too hard to get to any star. I also think it's a valuable course when we're talking about like the impact outside of just Mario, because like, if you think about it, a lot of the themes replicated in Big Boo's Haunt are kind of carried over in Luigi's Mansion. So I think that's why it should almost be elevated a little bit more and give it an additional bonus. So, I mean, like the living piano that comes after you, the boos coming through the walls, the books that are thrown through from the bookshelves. I got to put it in the top 5. This is a great course.
I think as far as atmosphere goes, it's probably the best in the game, which is why I haven't even listed it yet. I think it is a great course as well. My number 5 is Cool Mountain though. Another great course. It has the slide, it has the penguins, it has the snowman. There's a lot to do. The teleporter makes it really easy for once you get to the bottom, you can get back up to the top. And with the slides, getting back to the bottom, once again, it's a huge stage, but traversing doesn't feel like it takes that long. And that mixed with the fact that no matter where you're at, there's some fun things to do and just different little nooks and crannies to explore and find cool things. And while on one hand, I said for a lot of levels, oh, you might end up super far away from a star. And I think there are some places like that in Cool Mountain. On that same note though, like the areas that don't have much will have like a bunch of coins or something else that can go towards doing like 100 coin star. Learning how to do the wall kicks, that's a fun platforming challenge for me, one of my favorites in the game. Just like doing the speedrun strat with the penguin of like grabbing it, sliding off the mountain, like I have a great time doing that. And then the penguin race is a good challenge, and especially the fact that once you beat the game, it's an even bigger penguin. That just additional little detail. I love that attention to detail, and it gave us some more bonus points for me. All right, so here's where I have Lethal Lava Land. I don't think you named Lethal Lava Land either, and for good reason, because I think it's one of the best courses in the game. Another kind of just sandbox type level. You get into the level, you grab that Koopa shell, and you just ride around wherever. And that makes this level so much more fun off the rip. Just to go ahead and get anywhere, it makes the traversal easier. but also just platforming to different areas with the moving lava levels, with just the different sequences of platforms. Some of them move, some of them are stationary but get hazardous over time. It's just fun, decently challenging traversal that can be made a little bit easier through the resources available. Then I think the volcano, while not as big as something like the pyramid, the volcano to me is the most fun little sub area in the game. I think the stars in there are just so cool, especially having two of them that are their own little platforming challenges. I just have a good time and a ton of fun anytime I'm playing this course.
Number 4, I do not think you have named this course yet either, and I have Tick-Tock Clock. I was tempted to put it number 3, but I had to dock it to number 4, and it's not anything personal, but I just like the way that you can, similar to what we said with like Wet Dry World, and you can like control the water. I just like where it's like you can control the time, you can control the movement of objects in the course. And I mean, I feel like most people will jump in right when it's at 12, just so you can get everything stationary. There are, I think, certain courses that maybe it's a little bit better the other way around. I feel like this course is a little underrated in terms of the respect it gets for this game. Obviously, it's been like reincarnated in Mario Kart DS, but I think it's a little bit disrespected in this game. And I don't know if part of that is because like, the BLJ at the very end on the staircase is such one of the most common glitches in probably all of speedrunning, that like people are like, all right, I'm past this door, I don't really need to pay much attention to Tick-Tock Clock, I can just do the backwards long jump up the stairs. So I feel like that's a little unfortunate, but I don't know, I have fun platforming on it. I feel like it's one of the better courses in the game, and especially from like a unique standpoint, like you can definitely look at every other course and be like, there's nothing quite like this.
We're going to move right on to number 3. Top 3, this is the best of the best now. What do you have right here?
Number 3 is where I have Cool Mountain. There's no better feeling in the whole game than delivering the baby penguin to the mom and then taking it and dropping it off the edge. Everyone has done it. I mean, it just happens. I think like those similar to Wet Dry World too, like most of the stars in the game, they're not like too crazy no matter like what skill level you are, but I feel like it has a lot of the more unique stars in the game. Like I feel like everyone remembers that star, everyone remembers the penguin race, everyone remembers Snowman lost his head. Like all these courses, that there's enough to satisfy no matter if you are a day 1 Super Mario 64 player or a year 20 Super Mario 64 enjoyer and player. I gotta have it top 3, and I don't know. I just like the overall feeling of it. It doesn't feel like there's anything missing in this course personally.
Here at my number 3, I have one that you had high yourself. I have Big Boo's Haunt. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, the atmosphere in this stage is just top level. It's the best in the game, and for that, you have to give it a ton of credit. Just the way you get there, from killing the boos in the courtyard, you get in, it's this eerie, ominous music, and then you're just exploring this big mansion. And there's so much to unpack there, like you were talking about, with the moving piano that tries to kill you, or getting the vanish cap and jumping through different walls to find these different little secret nooks and crannies, whether you're finding the boos or you're finding the Mr. Eye for that star towards the top, climbing to the top of the mansion, that gets you a star. Going all the way down to the bottom into the basement, that gets you a star. Like I mentioned with Hazy Maze Cave with the exploration, I feel like Big Boo's Haunt has a lot of that exploration, but it's a little bit less frustrating at the same time. So it just makes it even better when mixed with that great atmosphere.
I didn't have it as high as you, but I can't knock it. It's a great course.
Number 2 is where I have another great course. I got Tick-Tock Clock here. Once again, a consensus among the two of us, top level course in the game. I just think when it comes to concept, this is the coolest concept in the game. You just have an actual clock that you're inside of, and depending on when you enter, it just changes the speed the clock is moving. Like, that just gives you so much variability, and you see, I have this platforming challenge I need to get done. What way should I enter this level in order to get this done most effectively? Not only that, you're just platforming up a little bit higher each time to find the next challenge. And it feels like a course that really builds on itself. And each challenge is fun. I have a great time climbing up the clock. It doesn't feel annoying. It doesn't feel tedious because it's just such engaging platforming. And there's a couple different pathways to get up, so it's not like you're just doing the exact same thing every time. That just mixed with the level of difficulty here, it's not an easy stage by any means, and I like that challenge so close to the end of the game. I have a blast playing this course, and I had to give it one of the top spots.
You might have had your number 4 is my number 2, and my number 4 is your number 2, because my number 2 is Lethal Lava Land. For one, I mean, you even said it, like, I love going in the volcano. I know not a lot of people really like it, which is a little surprising, at least from the people I've talked to, but I like going in the volcano. I feel like personally, like, it's rare you can look at a course and be like, oh, I'm excited to do the 100 coin star for them, if you were to go for it. I think this is like the most fun 100 coin because you just get the shell and you just glide all over the course. And then as soon as you get like 80, you hop in that volcano and you get the rest. So I like that personally. And I feel like, you know, going for the A-Red coins is not too crazy. You know, boiling the big bully, that's always fun. And then using like the wing cap maybe to fly over to the, you know, the log star as well. That's also fun. So there's not, and it really, like, for me, it's kind of crazy because, like, you would think a lava level would be maybe more intimidating, and maybe for a beginner it might be, but for me it's like I kind of invite it, you know. I like doing Lethal Lava Land a lot of the time, and you can really do all the courses at once. You know, if you're playing the intended way, you could potentially do all the stars at once. So I'm putting it number 2.
The lava can be challenging, but honestly, you can use the damage boosting to your advantage.
That's what I was just about to say. That. I use that to get into the volcano sometimes for the shortcut.
It's like a hazard, but when you can turn it into a tool, it just like ups the replayability because you have new ways to solve these challenges. That takes us to number 1 though, and we had a heartbreaking moment earlier. And I think this is where it comes back to get us, because we're obviously have 2 different trains of thought here. And it's funny that we had the adverse course of each other, both down at like number 11.
Number double one, 11.
And now our number 1s are backwards. So
yeah,
it's no secret. You're a Baba Battlefield guy, and I'm a Womps Fortress guy.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give your take first on why Baba Battlefield is the best course in the game. They peaked at the first one, according to you.
Yeah, so at least for me, and this isn't even just like a Super Mario 64 thing or Mario in general, but I feel like I'm more of like, it's hard to top the original, you know what I mean? And first of all, the music is incredibly nostalgic, and granted, Womps Fortress still has the same music. I just feel like it connects more with Bob-omb Battlefield just because it is number 1. And I feel like maybe to me, like, I'm a little shocked it was the first course in Super Mario 64, because if you think about it, like, there are slight challenges in this course. I know it's supposed to kind of be like a tutorial, but it doesn't totally feel like that. And because there's not like any specific place where it's like, oh, you can like fall off the map or anything, bro, it's just a beautiful sight to see. You know, it's not like a lot of these other courses, whether it's Womps Fortress or Cool Mountain, or, you know, like where there's like hazards if you fall off the platforms. Like, it's just nice, you're vibing, you know, doing the bomb clip behind the cage, and then like racing Koopa the Quick. I know everyone has at least done it one time where they've raced up the left side of the battlefield on the grass slope, and then they maybe teleported as long as Koopa the Quick didn't see them and then catch them cheating. So personally, for me, a lot of the stuff too that's in Womps Fortress, I mean, granted, there are some cool stars from, you know, speed running standpoints, especially if you're like maybe like going for the glitches. But if you're just trying to have a good time and vibe out, Bob-omb Battlefield is the way to go.
You have a great point, and it's just your train of thought of it's the original and they did it really well. But I have to have Womps at number 1, I think, because I do the speed running. Like, it's just so much fun to practice all these different tricks. And not that it's not fun to do things the intentional way. Like, climbing up is a good time. Figuring out the cannon is a good time. Earlier, you called it like an unnecessary tutorial. But I don't feel like it's unnecessary because I think it introduces so many new concepts and could introduce it for the first time. Like, you can go through it all in one sitting. There's just a star or some sort of challenge to do no matter what part of the level you're at. And it feels like there's no wasted space. It feels like the way the level is created is this sandbox that's all built around the central point of where the Womp King is or where the tower is. And it's like, no matter where you're at, there's something engaging to do here. And I feel like that maximization of utilizing space, the replayability with all the different speedrunning tricks and glitches and all these different aspects to the course. Plus, I do think it's almost just as iconic as Bob-omb Battlefield being completely remade for Super Mario Galaxy 2. Like, that's how iconic it was. I think a quality boss fight, even if you can cheese it, and just so much fun and so many memories I have tied to the course. I have to have it as the top spot.
I will say, I think like the extended tutorial, I guess that comes from the intended way. And like I said, because it's like if I was speedrunning Super Mario 64, Womp's Fortress would be at least in the top 5. I don't know what my list would look like if we're basing it off of that, but I feel like if I'm basing off like, you know, good vibes, just chilling, bro, Bob-omb Battlefield has everything I need. Like, I can relax, I can play the game, I can enjoy Koopa the Quick, beating him, throwing the bomb 3 times, you know, doing the wing cap star in Bob-omb Battlefield, and then bomb clip, you know. So it's like, I don't know, there's just a lot of like easy going stars that, I don't know, it's kind of like more the laid back. I guess this is my laid back perspective of why I got Bob-omb Battlefield at 1. And I respect you got Womp's Fortress at 1 too.
Listen, I understand it's 2 different schools of thought, but for those of you watching at home, let us know in the comment section below. What is your list? What were our best takes here? And what were our worst takes here? Please let us know how you feel, because everybody has their own subjective ranking of these courses. With that said, it's been a great time having you on, Garrett. I appreciate everybody who's watching at home, and look forward to more content coming soon. With that said, this has been Gabe Slid In, featuring my guy, Super Mario Hoops 24, and I will see you guys next time.